Yep.
Okay,
Oh my God.
what a week.
What a week.
What a
Um,
week.
so I guess we should start with some student wins. Start on the highs.
Let's do that. And then we'll coast from there. How are things going in your realm? Any wins that you want to report?
Wins that I want to report. Okay. One of the wins I want to report is um, I've had a student reach out to me recently. This isn't the one that we were just talking about. A different student reached out to me because a professor from our university said, "Hey, you're interested in doing your dissertation on precision teaching. Dr. Van is a precision teacher, and he said I'm a precision teaching guru. So he reached out to me. He didn't know much about me, but he was like, I had this idea, and I was working on it. What do you think? So I explained what I thought, and I also explained all of the other avenues that he can go to in precision teaching. I let him know about my, yeah, a lot of, I let
Big,
him
big
know.
thing.
Yep. I showed him my website, jaredvan.com/scc, and he was like, "Oh, this is really amazing." And I showed him a whole bunch of stuff, showed him some of my literature, some of my research, talked about what a lot of people don't know. So he was really, really excited and happy. And he's going to reach out to me, and I'll be on his dissertation. I'm just excited that, somebody else is excited. So I have like a little contingent of precision teaching dissertations and students. And because of that, I'll definitely be starting my precision teaching lab, which will be fun. And I'm excited to see what can come of that. Also, I was working with a student, and one of the things that I've learned how to do is like, some of our master students, they're having they have to do a lot of work. They are going to school and they're working full time. I remember when I was there, and it was very stressful. And I have some students who are going through that stress and like supporting them through that stress, and then like seeing how they come in, and then when they leave the meeting and seeing them go out feeling more confident, feeling more capable, seeing knowing what they need to do, like just breaking it down, and then also just like genuinely supporting them and like being there for them in a way that's not like people talk about ABA doesn't have like a heart and stuff, like, but just being like supportive and there for them and validating their feelings and being like, hey, there's this saying, did you go to grad school if you didn't cry? I mean, and that's not a good saying, but the reality I want them to know is that a lot of people go through the same anxiety, depression, frustration that they're going through. Unfortunately, that's normal, but also you're okay. You're doing well. You shouldn't know all this stuff. If you knew all this coming in, I would be like, why are you here? So you're struggling because you're coming up to doing something new, and I'm just giving you feedback on it so that we could shape it up to where it needs to be, so then we can keep on going. So letting them know those things and supporting them through that, it makes me feel good because I know that I can see the impact. And then they come back to me and they're feeling more confident, and they're like, yeah, I don't know, I was stressed. And it's like, you've got this, and that just feels good to me because part of why I enjoy teaching is not only seeing students learn, but also seeing them succeed and go beyond what they thought that they could do, and that's really rewarding for me. And the pay ain't all there, but the real reward for me is the feeling you get when you have students be able to overcome obstacles and gain that success, and and then pass, and seeing them finish, and that's all just beneficial. And then the last thing that I'll say, I'll read this message that I got from a previous student, because I was really happy to see this. It says, I don't know if you remember me, but I was in your 2025 class at Penn State, and I found your account just scrolling through. But every video reminds me about how you specifically showed how to research evidence and how to view every angle to find the truth. I am truly so fortunate to have had the opportunity to learn from you. And
That means
I
a lot.
yeah, it's just like Dang. And it also made me feel like, am I still doing that? Let me make sure that I'm living up to that.
Right. It's like when you first start teaching, you're like so excited, you have all the enthusiasm, you know, you're working off adrenaline. It's like, am I continuing that momentum? I question that all the time too. So
Hmm.
yeah, I feel that. That's awesome. Um, yeah, I've definitely had some students who have come over some really big hurdles, which has been great. So project completion, and then one of my dissertation students who I'm chairing the project for passed the proposal. So now we're starting IRB, which is huge because what she's doing is basically developing a whole study from minimal minimal research, but basically trying to make instructions on delivering behavior support plans or functional assessment results in a manner that is more culturally humble and culturally accepted, and trying to use like a written enhanced model for that. And so I'm really excited to see where that goes. And once again, like, you know, I have these conversations with her all the time where it's like, it's hard to do something new for the first time. So you're meeting all of those barriers now, but you're doing it under the umbrella of having a committee and having some really good guidance on that. So I think it'll be really cool. And I'm very excited for all those students. And for one of the students, you know, she's had a really hard time getting through her master's level stuff, and I got the nicest email from her yesterday, you know, thanking me. You know, I wouldn't have made it if it weren't for you. You know, I thank you so much. And it's like, my response to those emails are always thanks, but it's my job.
Hmm.
And then it makes me wonder, but what are you not getting elsewhere? So yeah, it's like, I'm not good at compliments anyway. So my first reaction is thanks, but I'm literally doing what I do for everybody. Um, and I think we can talk a little bit about some of what you were kind of describing as far as like mentorship and stuff like that, on that level when we talk about like research that we're working on and projects like that. So it's interesting you were starting to kind of talk about some of those feelings that come up and how we can address those anxieties in students and kind of work through some of those issues. Some of those things can be very challenging. And understanding that feelings are not always fact. That's a conversation I've had to have with a few students this past week where, you know, your feelings are this, they're valid, but it doesn't equate to your competence. It doesn't equate to your skill set. And that is the hardest thing in the world when you are having those feelings to accept and to move on. So I love that you touched on that because we've really had those conversations in the past week for like a couple of my doctorate students in particular.
Yeah, no. My fiance always says feelings are data. So they may not be fact. They're definitely not fact, but they're data. They're telling you
Mm-hmm.
something. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they're valid, and you can listen to them, but you could also figure out how to deal with them, and they can better help you have higher distress tolerance.
Yes.
Um, Another thing that you said, you were talking about. Yeah, I literally tell students too, like I'm just doing my job, which makes me concerned, like you said, about what kind of history do they have with teachers, professors,
Yeah.
instructors, where they feel like what I'm doing is going above and beyond,
Right.
because a lot of times I feel like I'm not doing enough, to be honest
Same.
with you.
Yeah.
And I really work hard to do as much as possible to get feedback back as quickly as possible, to
Yeah.
also kind of live a life, but also to do all these things. And it really saddens me to hear that, and then sometimes to see how certain professors operate. It's just like I would never do that. I couldn't
Right.
imagine
Same.
having that ideology of that being okay. And it just goes to show you that you're going to have professors with different values, and you're going to have professors that were never taught how to teach and never taught how to mentor.
Yeah. And maybe that's our issue. Maybe because we weren't taught to teach and mentor, we're doing too much. I don't know. Perspective is so interesting, but I would argue that I would rather go on the side of doing too much than not enough,
Hmm.
and not in a capitalist give of myself until I can't give anymore sort of way, but in a This is what I would have wanted as a student, sort of way. And
Yeah.
as long as I have my own boundaries set, I'm okay to do that.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I was fortunate enough to have professors who explicitly taught me how to teach. You know, explicit instruction, direct instruction.
Nice.
The Morningside Academy, I went there for their Morningside Summer Institute and learned directly how to teach and then taught, right? So, I mean, like, I
You
actually
were taught
had
to
that
teach.
in, exactly, yeah. So when I observe certain things, I'm just like, oh, that's, I mean,
Yeah, that's not
according
it.
to the research and, everything practical, no, 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 no. But, I stay in my lane. But it's just, it's not only our profession. I mean,
Yeah.
our our area that's not taught to teach. Like many professors are professors because they earned a PhD in their field, and they are very knowledgeable in their field.
Yeah.
Yes,
Not how to
but they
teach
then
people.
exactly they're not taught how to teach. So, like, it's always funny. Like one of the comments I got, I was explaining like teaching reading. I was telling you, teaching reading is very complex and it can be very
Yeah.
difficult. And
Right.
then one person was like, I'm a high school teacher. I'm a teacher, and I've been a teacher for this many years, and I have kids. And to be honest, teaching how to read isn't that hard. I'm like, you literally, for a job, do this. Of course, it's not that hard. I hate when professors are
Yeah.
like, this is I wrote a PhD on it. It's not that difficult. It's like, yeah, not to you. Not right now to you. When you've had this much experience and this much practice and this much, blah, blah, blah. It's
Privileged
not,
writers. Yeah.
yeah.
Right on.
It, I mean, it's hard to
That's
somebody,
great. Good for you.
yeah.
Let's all slow clap for that commenter. All right. Go
Exactly,
you.
but like for somebody who's never done it, who has no instruction on how to do it, who doesn't know what good instruction is on how to do it, it's going to be difficult. Like if you ask a parent, like, what reading instruction are you going? They don't even know which reading instructions are good. Is it balanced literacy, structured literacy? Is it science of reading? What are the difference between phonics and whole word? Like all these things, all these terms, if you're not taught directly, you couldn't know.
No, I completely agree. And, I always think of like the example, think of like an accountant who has like their doctorate in like math. Do
Hmm.
you think that that person is going to know how to automatically teach people how to do math? No. And so, like, any discipline, like your point to this, it's very generalized, minus education schools, because you are
Hmm.
specifically taught how to teach in an education degree. Other than that, it's really just kind of like figure it out. But what gets me is the, I'm gonna call it ableism of ABA in particular. As a field, we apply the research, we apply the concepts to autism, but yet we don't apply OBM to our clinics for autism. We don't apply OBM to general organizations. We don't apply the strategies that we have for effective teaching to higher education. But we can apply it to autistic learners because we're ableist. And that's my take on ABA.
No, I agree. Here's two examples of why it's problematic, especially in higher education. One, when higher education is pretty much just aversive control. Oops, all aversive control. When it comes to grades, when it comes to progressing and earning that degree, the reinforcement is very thin. And I think it's does a disservice to what we teach to be so based on aversive control. That's one. Two, kind of side note, we don't teach. Yeah, shocking, pun intended. Two, I think this very problematic that we don't teach the history of ABA,
Mm-hmm.
uh, or
I agree.
or really disability studies,
Or
or
ableism.
really ableism or autism really well. We kind of just it's oops all behavior. Make sure you pass that test, and then really the last one is one of the things I noticed is when it comes to SAF meds, say all fast minute everyday shuffle, and you're learning these terms. It's basically flashcards with terms on one side and definitions on the other. I was explaining to the student that was he was going to do the SAF meds dissertation. I was like, honestly, in the literature, SAF meds don't look like it does in most university programs, because in the literature it should be a very short definition,
Yeah,
and some of these definitions in some of these
can't make
university
that much short.
programs, I mean, I think I still remember the definition for prompt: a supplemental antecedent stimuli used to occasion the correct response in the presence of the SD that will eventually control the behavior.
Oh
That
my
is
God,
way
it's
too
something to
long.
facilitate learning. Good God.
Yes, yes, yes.
It doesn't have to.
um
Why do we make things more complicated than we have to in this field? Is it because we want to feel self-righteous?
that's a
That's what my
great
guess.
point. I mean,
God,
precision
it's so
teaching, plain
obnoxious.
English.
It's so obnoxious. Like, do you find that obnoxious? I find that so painfully obnoxious. It's like I don't want to listen to you, not
Well,
you, but like
no,
when
yeah.
when you do those things, like get out of here. Like I don't want to go to that conference. I don't want to listen to some guy mansplain things to me that I already understand, but in complicated terms to try to make him look smarter. Ew.
Yeah.
Sorry. Side
I think
rant.
no, no, you're right, and I'm going to agree with you to a point where I'm going to say somebody in the comments is going to hate me for this, but I blame Skinner. The way that Skinner described things, like if you don't
Ew.
know, exactly.
Lord and Savior.
Do you know what his original is? Like, what his major was?
I don't know. I just know the cringe about like the baby in the box and shit like
Yeah.
that. So,
So apparently his major was like literature or something, and he wanted to be like a writer.
well, Walden too. That
Um,
explains everything.
yeah. So
'Cause that is
which
pretty great fiction.
Yeah, and funny side story about Walden too. So, Ogden Lindsley, Skinner's student,
Uh huh.
had a student named Abigail Calkin. I meet with her all the time, and she said that Ogden made her read Walden too, and she's big on literature, right? She's a
Uh huh.
poet. She's big on literature, and
Right.
she kind of said that book kind of sucks. It sucks as a novel,
Respect to
and
the
like they were
no.
kind of, yeah, they kind of
Because
ragged
everyone
on
else
it.
is like, "Oh, this is so good." It's like, do you read?
It also, like, babies walking around naked, and he's like, oh, we could just adjust the
Yeah.
temperature. I was just like, bro, like this can never
I
be made
forgot
into a
that
movie.
part. Thank you. I think I just kind
Yeah,
of pushed it out of my mind because I was like, oh,
yeah.
that's
There's
weird.
there's a lot of stuff in there. So
A lot of old white men are pedophiles, is what come to find out.
I don't know if he was that, but I mean,
No,
I'm just
we're not
saying,
saying that.
yeah.
But it's giving, like, when you read a Stephen King book, there's a lot of detail about underage girls sometimes in some of those novels.
Yeah,
It's giving that.
yeah, and I think that also, like, so the way that he described a lot of stuff, B.F. Skinner, is super technical, and he uses language in a way that's not exactly accessible to people usually. I remember being in verbal behavior, and our professor would break down, like he would open up the book, go to the chapter we were reading, he'd break it down line by line, and we discuss what the hell is this man saying, right? Because it was that dense, like it's so dense.
It's
So like there needs to be, you know how like the Bible is like transcribed into
yeah.
like layman's
Sure, talk
terms.
for
There needs to
civilians.
be,
Everybody else.
yeah, the page where Skinner had said it, and then the page where it's layman's sayings.
Oh, that's so
Because
good. We should do that. We should make
yeah,
like
I
an
mean,
abridged version.
ask somebody to describe an autoclitic. I
Oh my God, we
mean,
should do that. That's our next project. We're gonna take every one of Skinner's books and we're gonna make like a plain English version, the side by
mhm,
side. They do that, I think, in the Essential for Living assessment too. Like they have like the
yeah,
practitioner and then they have the plain. That's kind of what I was thinking of. Not that I
hmm,
want to promote that assessment because I have my own, but they have like the plain English version, and that would be so amazing for students because then they would be like, hey, now I understand what he's actually saying and I can
yeah,
pass the board because I understand the concept.
yeah. And I think that they have that plain English version for the Essentials for Living, because I think it's by Patrick McGreevy, and he
Yeah,
is a
teaching and
precision
learning in
teacher.
plain English. I think I have that
Yeah,
somewhere actually. Yeah.
yeah. He has precision teaching background, so I
Hmm.
think that's why he was like, yeah, I need to do this. This is why.
It's funny that precision teachers get that, but it seems
Yeah.
that nobody else seems to. So,
Well, I
yay,
mean, I think
precision
that
teacher.
yeah, I think that behavior analysts revel in the, like knowing the terms and being able to communicate in that language is reinforcing, and it kind of makes them feel smart, you know.
That that right there.
But it gets in the way.
It, to me, it's cult like though, because it's like, you have this language, you have these terms, but you're not only further isolating yourself, but you're also showing society that you don't want to play nice. And it I don't know. And it's funny because like those of us who do precision teaching and um, direct instruction and stuff like that, it's interesting that our approach is just very different. It's like we want accessibility and we want
Exactly.
everybody to benefit from this. Why it does it have to be that different? And also, like, why are we getting pushed out of like the board exam? Why are we not wanting to talk about these things anymore as part of the requirements for certification? So I
Yeah.
don't know. Apparently we're like the bad children of the field.
We are. I mean, I was looking at a comment from a occupational therapist, and they kind of put like side by side ABA, OT, and like the terms and the definitions. And OT was just so much more plain English, but we were saying a lot of the similar things in that case. So it was just
Interesting.
very, very interesting. And I think you're the same way. I love to learn about how other people do things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I remember like when I was working as a, we'll call it an RBT. I wasn't an RBT, but we'll
Yeah,
call it a
same.
registered behavior technician. I would like go in and I'd have to go to speech or go to the OT or the PT. That'd be so much fun for me, collaborating, learning what they're doing. Like, oh, why are you doing that? I remember like they were like sounding it out, and she would knock for each sound so that the
Oh,
child could like pair each sound and have good auditory processing, as they would call it.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and I would call it like phonemic awareness, so that they know how the sounds are supposed to sound, and that they all can be spread apart and then be put back together to make a word. And like I was like observing it, I was like, "This is so interesting." And then the child got it. I provided the reinforcement, and I was like, "This is crazy," you
Yeah.
know?
No, I completely agree. I've had those same experiences. I remember one of the first times that I provided support in like what I consider like a real ABA clinic, where they had access to speech and occupational therapy and stuff like that. And the speech therapist, who was dually licensed and dually certified, by the way, so a
Mm-hmm.
BCBA and a SLP, she was working on speech cues. And so phonemic cues that were visual, that you could just like use a visual prompt and then the student would respond using the right phoneme. And that was like the coolest thing ever, because if a student was having a hard time with one specific part of a word, we could isolate that phoneme, give the visual cue as they're saying the thing, and then we could establish some. It was brilliant, and I was like, this is so smart. And she was just like, yeah, I just blended prompts and prompt fading with the concepts that I learned as an SLP. And I'm like, this is the type of stuff that people miss out on when they decide to say, hey, I read an article and now I can work on this thing. Or, hey, because it's in the VB map and it was written by a BCBA, I can work on this and not have to have a speech language pathologist with oversight. That's the that's where it starts to bother me, because it's like you miss out on so much that you could possibly use to further help support your student. And from my perspective, if you have those tools at your disposal, why would you not take advantage of those? Well, clearly you're not after the best benefit for your learner, because you're holding them back if you don't. So,
Agreed.
full
Agreed.
full stop there.
No, I mean, I think it's so cool when people like have like, so the dual certification
Mhm.
SLP,
Yeah.
ABA. Like
Mad
you're
respect.
you're taking the best out of both of these sciences and both of these
Mhm.
programs, and then you're merging them to be able to support the student, support the learner. And it's a beautiful thing to watch, because what you're really seeing is like, I call it peak science, or peak
Yeah.
educational science.
Higher
You know what I
level for
mean? Yeah, like just like, oh my god, and that's so inspiring. You know what I mean? It really gets me going, because it's like, look at what we can do if we really take this to the
sure.
next
Right.
level. And then I'm thinking, okay, how did you measure that? How long did it take for them to learn it? Can we make it happen in another student using similar blah blah blah? So you know what I mean? Like it just makes it grow. I mean, that's one of the things that's so exciting. I think that gets us both excited as like practitioner researchers, researcher practitioners.
Yeah, I'm not in practice as much any longer, but
Same.
um, which is there's advantages and disadvantages. Like advantages in that my body responds better to not overworking myself because I'm disabled, but disadvantage in that I'm no longer getting that applied piece. But man, I would be so burned out if I did practice still. Um,
Can we
so
talk about that real quick? Because
yeah,
I remember being in my 20s, working from 7:30 to 5:30, 6:30 sometimes.
I would do 12, 14-hour shifts sometimes.
And
And I
then
had
you
like
go
three
and
jobs at one point.
yeah, and then you have to go and study.
Yeah. I don't know how I did it in my 20s. Like I look back and I'm like I was an animal, but I was also
Yeah.
undiagnosed. So like I think that was my way of like pushing everything away so that I would have to deal with it when I finally stopped.
Yeah, I don't know how I did it either.
Same.
It's just like so much. I think that also being at that age, it was like I could stay up. You know what I mean? I could do
Yeah.
the work.
Your
You know what I
body
mean?
lets you do
Now,
more.
now I'm like I'm going to bed. I'm sleepy. I'm tired. I'm not trying to stay up. I could have the most fun thing that's available. It's like
Nope.
no, it can wait.
Like 7 p.m., you're done.
Like yeah, when I go to concerts, I'm like, please start early and end early. Like I don't need to be going till 2 a.m. Ain't nobody got time for that.
The good news generally is as you age, the artists also age and they also have those preferences. Like I actually have a concert tonight hilariously, and I'm not there for the main act because the main act I have coincidentally seen live and I'm like, not impressed. But the
Hmm.
opener was one of my high school like angry white teenager angst artists, and so I have to go. I'm a former emo scene kid, and
Okay.
so I think he starts playing at like 7, so he'll be done by like 8. And so I was
Beautiful.
telling my spouse that who's very similar. He's like, "Listen, 5 p.m. we're in the house, and like that's it." But I'm like, "Hey, we'll be home by like 8:30," and he's just like, "Yes, I love that." Whereas
And
other concerts we've been out till like midnight, and it's just like, oh, the older
and
you get.
also like I feel like when we go to concerts, especially on weekdays, we've probably been up all day working and then go to the
Days
concert.
are Sundays.
Yeah. Whereas the person who's performing, they probably had a nap. Like
Yeah,
they
that's
they
out.
definitely, have chilled. Whereas we
Yeah.
oof.
My one exception, though, is because we subscribe to Broadway tickets with local venues, and so I get to see all the touring companies and everything. With that said, we tend to go on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday night because all of our tickets, we buy for the season. They're on the same night every week, unless we want to swap out or whatever. So I like doing that because we get better seats and there aren't as many people, and even then it feels late sometimes because it's like 10:30, 11. And but I love Broadway shows enough where I kind of am like, I'll let that slide, and then my spouse just kind of goes along with it because he's just like, it's easier just to go with this than to fight it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes it's just like, they're coming and they're only going to be here during the week, not during the
Right.
weekend.
One night
So
only sort of
we
thing,
want to
yeah.
see them. We got to, make these
Yeah.
arrangements. And that's worth it. You know what I mean? It's fine. You enjoy it. It's a nice little thing to get you through the
It's hard
week.
on us though,
Oh,
because we're
yeah.
getting
Yeah.
older. And you're
Yeah.
not even that old, so I argue that in this conversation, I don't know that you can speak as much to that.
Well, I mean, I think I
As
also
far
get up
as
way
how
too early.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just want, for context, it's like what, 7:45 your time as we record this, which I think is absolutely bonkers, which means that you logged in at like a 6 o'clock time, which is
I've already sent emails. I've sent
oh
emails.
God, what's wrong with
I've
you?
I work better in the morning because when it gets towards that 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I'd be like, that's
I am
tomorrow
too.
Jared's problem.
But I'm gonna sleep and then work till 4 or 5. Like, I can do both. I'm a fast worker, so, and it doesn't compromise my quality.
There you
Speed
go.
is my thing, but I also have ADHD, so, and no stimulant medication to manage that. So, it's a superpower.
There you go.
Work from home, love it. But I also respond to stuff on the weekends, and I do work. I basically work every single day when I
Same.
break it down, and I'm okay with that. That's
Same.
what I'm cool with because it's flexible.
Yeah,
I love that.
I agree.
Yeah, that's so funny you brought up like the concert thing. We were just talking about that the other day. We went to FIFA Fan Fest on Saturday, which was the last day it was here in our city, and I wanted to see the All American Rejects play because once again, high school. Um, they were originally scheduled to play at like 8 p.m., which it was a free show. So as long as you just had your pass to the FIFA Fan Fest, you could go see this concert for free. And I was like, 8 p.m., okay, so we'll get out at like 9, but leaving the fan fest with everybody else is going to be chaos, so it'll probably be an extra hour to get home, all that sort of thing. They basically decided to change it because the Argentinian match at the end of the day was basically overlapping with the concert. And they were like, we don't want to, compromise people seeing the match. So they moved it to 2 o'clock on a day that there was absolutely like no overcast, sun full blazing in the Midwest, in the humidity, middle of July. And so it was like 90 degrees out. I almost had a medical emergency, y'all, because I was doing my best. I drank my water, I had my electrolytes, but they basically didn't have a designated rideshare place for the fan festival in our city. I don't know like how it looked in, San Francisco if you went. So basically, my spouse and I had to walk like a mile outside of the fan fest to get an Uber to go back home because we weren't going to come with our car and park it and try to figure that out. We were like, oh, we'll ride share, we'll be smart. And then, like, that's how you welcome tourists to the city. So there's like a big debate going on where people are complaining about, like, I had to walk a mile to get an Uber. And I was already basically like struggling to breathe and I was trying not to pass out. And there's like no shade this entire
Hmm.
mile to get to our Uber. And at one point, Trey was like, I was really concerned about you for a while. Like, you didn't show it. Because he was just trying to like help me power through. And like literally, I felt like, and this is no shade to anybody, on their way, but I felt like I was lugging around all this weight and I was hunched over like trying to breathe. It was so rough. So I almost died Saturday, the end.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
That story.
That's that's a public transportation problem that we really have here in America that I'm sure a lot of the people around the world were able to identify. So y'all don't have like good trains. You don't have good
Well,
public transit.
to be fair, we have like a streetcar which is free, but like the crowds leaving the fan fest, I was like, I'm not getting on that streetcar with all these people who've been out in 90-degree heat, likely not wearing deodorant, and you have to hold on to your thing like this. I am smell sensitive. I do not
Yeah,
like being crowded. I'm not getting on that streetcar to save my life. Public
yeah,
bus, same thing. I'm not getting on that bus because I'm sitting in someone's sweat. I have to smell someone's sweat. Like, no, I will walk the mile. I will risk
yeah,
death
yeah.
because I'm not. So we did have options, but like I
Hmm.
didn't want to stand in the line. I didn't want to have my nose in an armpit. You know what I
No, I
mean? Like,
get it.
no shade
Yeah,
to anybody, but like I don't want to be that close to you. I don't know you.
yeah. I think that's still a public transit problem, though. It shouldn't be that you have to deal with all of those
Yes.
things. You know,
Right.
if we had more and better public transit, it'd be like, oh no, I can go and I can sit, and there's lots of seats, and it
Everyone armpit
smells
around.
good, and you know what I
It
mean?
smells good.
Because when we dedicate so much space to cars for one person to be in one big ass truck that and then like a parking lot that's 7 acres. I mean,
Yeah.
because we cars have more rights and more space than people because we don't have walkable cities because all these things. So I mean, you know, that's a problem. That's a big gripe of mine.
What you're saying is everything is about oil and having access to things like cars.
Little bit, little bit. I mean, what is America if not just a big oil conglomerate?
That's a hot take. I'm shocked. I, for one, am appalled. Yeah.
But
So,
interesting. You want to move on?
yeah, yeah, let's go for it. Um, let's see, do you want to talk about current events at all?
Um, yeah. I mean, I guess we should probably touch on current events. When it comes to current events, what's in my mind right now is ICE, um, immigration's customs enforcement, if I'm not mistaken.
Whatever.
Um, yeah, whatever. For real. And they
Icky.
killed another person, um, murdered, assassinated another person, and then they try to say that they weaponized their vehicle again. So there's like a consistent thing. That's not what happened. They shot this person in the face, and it wasn't even the person that they were trying to search for. So, you know, if you're brown, if you're black, if you're not the right, if you don't look the right part, then you can be subject to ICE and this paramilitary force that's here to really serve as a Gestapo for Trump and the Trump administration. Which, to be fair, Democratic administrations have increased their presence and their ability in the past, but at this point they've been given so much power that they have increased dramatically their presence and their violence.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is and maybe it's just because I don't, you're more involved on looking on the news than I am, and that's, for my own boundaries and protection most of the time. But I feel like during the World Cup, I didn't hear as much about this crap. And I mean, it's still going on, but it's not on the level it was beginning of June. So I feel like all through June, it was pretty quiet. Am I wrong on that?
I think that a few things. One, I think you're right that it was quieter. Two, I think that the reporting probably was just lessened, and
Yeah,
also,
and
think
refocus.
about where we get our news from and who owns the algorithms. If we only have mainstream news and these social media that's owned basically by right wingers, they're able to decide which news stories and articles or whatever get seen and viewed and all that stuff.
Right? And if we have, oh, let's have Feel Good World Fest, we're going to prioritize that for sure.
Exactly.
Um, Things have definitely been quieter in my area, but I know that specifically in Kansas City area, there has not been as much visibility. Like I'm in a couple of like social media groups where it's like ice alerts and stuff like that, just so you kind of have an idea on where they're going to be. I have my whistle on my keychain, same with my husband. Um, and so we're prepared if we do see ice and we can, like alert others to it. But um, it was very quiet in that group for the last month. And I don't know if that's because of the increased tourism that we've had based on the World Cup, so it could be very specific to our area. Um, but I have noticed in the last week there have been more reports like, hey, ICE agents spotted here, ICE agents spotted over there. Um, I will say that I think our people know they're being watched, and so I don't see a lot of reports on aggression. I just see a lot of, hey, this place was raided. Well, why did they raid that one place in particular? Oh, they were targeted. Got it. So yeah, it's you're at risk and you're not safe. So even if you feel like I haven't seen anything about this isn't a thing any longer. Oh no, they're still there. They're still doing
Mm-hmm.
the things. I just had some false hope that maybe they were changing what they were doing, but they're not because now the
Mm-hmm.
killings are consistent.
Yep, they're back up.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good current event.
No. Do you mean good with quotation marks or?
No, I mean genuinely good.
Oh, good. Okay. Yes. Yes,
A
do that.
net positive, positive by subtraction. Um, Lindsey Graham dead.
I knew you were gonna say that. I just knew. Oh yeah. But okay, so that is a positive. Not that I want to celebrate anybody's death, but
I want to celebrate people's death. If you're a bad person and you die, leaving the place, the world a better place, then we should celebrate your death. I mean, I think that there's a propaganda that you shouldn't celebrate anybody's death. No, when Donald Trump dies, I am celebrating. I have an exact way. I have a standard celebration chart. I have not drank or smoked all year. The day he dies, that
the day
that dot is gonna go up, and I'm gonna share it at the Standard Celebration Society and explain it, have a great time. Because when, like, I think about it like this: if a slave owner, enslaver, is enslaving people, and then they die, and the people that were enslaved are now free, is that not cause for celebration? So then
no.
we can walk back the severity and intensity of the harm, and we can get to Lindsey Graham's level. And not only was he talking about, we should bomb all these places, he was a warmonger, he was a closeted homophobe who was at the same time, all these NDAs are coming out now.
I'm reading all that. Like, I may not know
Oh,
what's going on with other things, but I have been there for that tea.
absolutely. People
I've been
talking
there.
about how, hey, I wasn't able to get through college without him, thanks to him and me sleeping with him on the side.
Yup.
And he
Wearing his
wanted to hide
sunglasses and
his
his hat covering
proclivities.
his identity,
Yep.
sneaking around in the hotel.
So,
Oh, I'm here for it.
so when bad people die, I actually have a script that I've already written for Donald Trump's death.
I
And,
love
and
that.
to talk about why it's okay to celebrate when bad people die. I'm ready because
No, you are.
we will be dancing in the street. We will be celebrating. We celebrate death over here. I think it's important to follow ABA and be conceptually consistent. If I'm gonna hate you while you alive, I'm gonna hate you while you dead. I'm gonna treat you like you as you're dead, like you were alive. I hated you while you were alive, and I said that, and I'm gonna hate you while you're dead, and I'm gonna say that too because you were a terrible person. If you don't want to be hated in death, don't be hated in life. Be a better person. Indiran.
And don't be hateful while you're alive. Like, that's the thing. That's, I think, what comes down to, like, the policies and everything that these high profile men support. They're based on hate. So it's like, just dishing it back. So
Yeah.
I guess it's just, equity.
Yeah, isn't there like there's an Oscar Wilde quote? Some men add to life by leaving it, or something like that.
Oh, that's nice. I gotta find that.
Yeah, yeah, please do, because I hate to butcher a good quote.
That sounds amazing. Um, there's also been one that kind of circulates. I think it's a Mark Twain quote, and it's something about equally snarky about like when bad people die. But I cannot remember what it
Oh,
is.
yeah, so Oscar Wilde, his is some men improve the world by leaving it.
Hmm.
So
Beautiful.
we got one. Mitch McConnell
I was
still
gonna say,
clinging
what's going on
on.
with him? Are we weekend at
I thought,
Bernie's? Are we?
well,
What are we
he
doing?
been weekend at Bernie's. I feel like. Apparently, he's clinging on to life. Apparently, they're trying to show pictures and stuff of proof of
Die.
life.
People
Yeah, I
does
mean,
not die.
well, Lindsey Graham did, so sometimes it do, not often
Well,
enough.
people usually die in threes,
That's
right?
that's what everybody's saying. So we're
This
saying
is, we're like,
Lindsey,
okay, we're ready.
Mitch. You know what I
We got
mean?
the trio.
So
God,
I'm
the
just
world would be
saying,
so better.
yeah. Oh my God, and there will be celebrations and. Can't anybody say anything? I don't care about any respectability politics. I don't care about any of that BS. You were a terrible person. Strong Thurman, talking about segregation now, segregation yesterday, segregation forever. You die, pack watch. We happy. You know what I mean? When the oppressor dies and is no longer able to oppress, that is reason for the oppressed to celebrate. And if you don't understand that, then you're probably either on the side of the oppressor or an oppressor yourself, and you don't have empathy or cannot understand why people would be so happy. And also, let's look at what Donald Trump said to that one dude who died.
Oh
He
God.
said, "Do you remember? He's like,
Right.
XYZ is dead. Good. He was X,
Yeah,
blah, blah,
I
blah."
remember that.
So when Donald Trump dies, I know people are just going to copy, paste,
Good.
insert Trump's name. It's like, oh, so now when the shoe's on the other foot, you're
Right.
upset.
It's
Medicine don't
okay
taste so
when it's
good.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
That double standard always really irks me.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, like preaching and tone policing at us, and it's just like, but you all call us names and like really derogatory things. So
Yeah. They the real
yikes.
snowflake.
The, the trio. I hope that with the rule of three, I'm doing this like I'm religious or some
Mm-hmm.
shit. I'm not, but like I'm doing this in hopes that nobody that I like in entertainment or something is taken instead. So that's
See, I don't count that as the three. That's my thing. It's like, that
so
doesn't count.
yeah, but it's usually just like celebrities in threes or like politics in threes, and so it's like okay, but don't take a good one. Like
Yeah.
Biden has terminal cancer, for instance, and like I have criticism about Biden. I personally think he's conservative in disguise, but
Yeah.
um, I do I want him to go as one of the three? Absolutely not. I would rather have the three as previously discussed, and I do not want to negotiate that contract at all.
No. I want the three as previously discussed, but when it comes to Biden, honestly, I'm just like, bro, whatever. You oh, you know, okay, somebody on TikTok said this. This is not funny. I shouldn't say it. Never mind.
We have morbid humor. It's okay. It's funny if you
Okay.
have morbid humor.
All
Trauma,
right.
right?
So, what are the two things that old people always be doing? Falling and dying.
That.
Sorry. I mean, but also get out of Congress, get out of elective offices. You know what I mean? Like, make way. You're not going to be alive for the legislation you pass.
Yeah. Remember when like Ruth Bader Ginsburg died in position and everyone was like super critical about that, but like yet people don't seem to be critical of the men who are in those positions who die while they're still elected officials. Like I don't know, I found that so hypocritical. Because it was like, yeah, you know, we all wanted you to live longer because you were a champion of especially women's rights and
Mm-hmm.
you know, equity and equal access and rights and everything. But um, we all saw the writing on the wall and were concerned about her making it. But the criticism that she received, I think, was definitely not warranted versus like the lack of criticism that we have for some of these other politicians. I don't know if you've noticed that
Yeah.
too, but I
No, no,
definitely know.
definitely. We need to be conceptually consistent.
Yeah.
If you, at a certain age, like, look, isn't it like you have to be 35 to be able to be president?
Yeah.
So
But
saying
yeah,
that
we have
you
like
can
90 year
be
olds in office.
exactly. So if there's too young, there should be too old. We got to have equal equality on both sides of that. And also, I think also Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I think she also had some stuff where like she was like, yes, going for rights for white women, but not other.
Oh, really?
So
I
yeah, I
need to
think
look
that there
into
was some of
that.
that white feminism going
Yeah.
on, um, which I think that added to her critique. Um,
Gotcha. That could
so
be
so
valid. Okay.
yeah. So,
I'm gonna dig
um,
into that.
and you know what? The thing is, I don't know why, but my memory is long. Sometimes I'll be like, I forget, but you did something, and there's a reason
I
why I
do
don't
that
mess
too.
with you anymore. And then
I
I'll be
do
like,
that.
ah, yes, I knew it. Good, good, good. So
It's
my hate is long.
no, I do that too, and I'll sit there like because we'll have like a name like my spouse and I will be discussing some celebrity or whatever. I'll be like,
Hmm.
okay, but I canceled them a long time ago for some reason. I
Yeah,
know I did, and I'll try
yeah.
to think of it, and then I'll Google it, and I'll be like, I told you, and because you know it just like lingers. But that is one thing I'm actually glad about that I do. I latch onto some
Hmm.
of those things because I'm like, there's a reason I should not like that person,
Yeah.
and or that business, or I should not support them or give them money or whatever. So like, you know, at least I hold a grudge in a helpful way, like
Yeah,
not
in a
a
consistent
well,
way, and I think that it's
because
important because I
I like
mean,
that.
people complain about canceling. It's like if you do harm and people no longer want to support you or engage with you, that's the consequence of your actions.
Yeah.
Now, if you are
And you don't
able
make
to,
change.
yeah, exactly. If you make changes and if you know, what is it called? Do restitution and
Yeah.
all that,
Institutional work.
then,
Restore.
then we can talk about coming back. But, and then, being like, they did have this thing, but they've worked hard to be able to
Right.
work their way back into it. But if there's never that, then it's like I don't want to have a conversation with an asshole. So if you're an asshole, I'm not going to have a conversation with you. That's just me not wanting to be around an asshole. And that's all quote unquote canceling is, and it's been happening for a long time. Some people just got a name for it.
Let's say you were offered an opportunity to interview Donald Trump. Would you do it?
Is this via Zoom or in person?
Does it matter? 'Cause I feel like
I,
you've got
I
like
think for legal reasons I shouldn't say. um,
you could be a Luigi, you could be a
I
hero.
I think that the thing is I've seen him leave a lot of interviews.
Yeah, he would not
So
stay with
like he
you.
like literally he'll sit down and I'll be like, so why are you a bitch? Like like that will
Start,
literally
let's
be
start easy. Why are
yeah
you the way you are?
like
Instant, get up, walk
like
away.
there's this great clip of like LeBron James. He's like leaving a basketball game, right? And he was like playing, and then he's going into the tunnel, and then some lady says, "LeBron, why are you a soft ass bitch?" And then everybody like looks around like, "Damn!" And then one of the security, like LeBron, even looks like, "Damn!" And then the security guard's like, "Yeah," he's like, "Calm down, woman!" Like trying to like, it was a woman, so let's calm tempers, everyone. You know what I mean? So I think that's what he was trying to do. Was like, calm down, woman. Whatever it is. But the clip is hilarious because she said it so clearly, and then when when the camera pans to her, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I." Like, she just like completely folds, and it's like my
Gosh.
bad. But like it was so clear and forceful, and like you
Oh,
just have to laugh. I'm a LeBron James absolutist. They call us LeBron sexuals. We think that LeBron is the best of all time,
LeBron's
and
sexual.
yeah. So I mean, I think that he's the goat, the number one greatest for the longest, whatever. But that video is just hilarious.
So, like, was the comment that she made just a roast, or like, was it coming
It
from
was
something?
literally, it was literally just LeBron. Why are you a soft ass bitch? Like literally just a stream of
Right, okay.
consciousness,
Okay.
and
So he's
it
not
was
like a normal person, or
no. I mean, I think it was just like she's a fan of the other team,
uh,
and you know how people feel like they can heckle and say anything to
right,
any
right.
player.
Okay,
She definitely
that
took it
helps.
too far, and it was the end of the game, and she had a drink in her hand, so she probably had too
Yep,
many. So,
we've all been
but
there. Oh,
that would be me with like Donald Trump. Like he would not last.
love it. I love the comparison. Except he probably wouldn't stop and try to be like, "Hey, let's chill a little
No,
bit. Let's talk
he's like
this through." No,
he's
he
like
would just be
you're a low IQ. You're a nasty person. That's
low
exactly what he would
IQ.
say.
Doesn't he not even have a degree? You have a low IQ.
And you know what? Maybe I can rage bait him into saying that, and I'll be like, "Did you know that IQ was actually created for racist purposes,
For
and the
people
IQ
like you.
actually doesn't exist?" Like, just like completely
Right,
do a
right.
lesson on IQ.
So funny. I love this now, this rent-free thought in my head of you interviewing Donald Trump. That's gonna give me life
Would
until
you
the day it
interview?
happens. No, I don't think I could be in the room with the smell. Are you kidding? Like
Well,
I've
okay, well,
read
via
things
Zoom.
about what did it for me was before he was even elected the first time was when he made fun of that disabled reporter. And so I don't think I could because I know how he feels about people like me. and people like you. And I wouldn't be able to hold it together enough. I couldn't even get to the point where it's like, why are you a bitch? I couldn't even get to that. I think I would just be like, I can't. Like, but I have like trauma related to similar behavior patterns to him.
Hmm.
And I think that that makes a big difference for me. And you know, if you have that same pattern of history, you understand what I'm talking about with that sort of like dismissal and invalidation and stuff like that. But he triggers me in a way that really associates with trauma. And so if he doesn't, I think it'd be easier to go into that situation.
Yeah, no, I didn't even think about the smell. Also, by the way, I didn't even. I would have
Yeah,
to
the
mention
smell.
it. I'd be like, "What's that smell? Is that you? Did you poop your pants? Do we need to
Is that
change him?
you? Just
We're live, right?"
well, someone
That's
call R.
Dookie.
Kelly because I feel like, yeah, someone call R. Kelly because I hear he's into this sort of thing. The doo doo
Hmm.
better. Yeah, I've read things about his incontinence. I don't know how true they are. It's just like the Lindsey Graham NDAs. I don't know to what extent people are profiting or capitalizing, but you've got people coming out who have nothing really to lose. So
And
I'm
also,
just
like,
out with it.
some lies like are just so specific and or absurd that it's like, why
They have
would
to be true.
multiple people make that up? Like, I
Right,
mean,
right.
some people could say like, oh, this person harassed this person in whatever
Hmm.
kind of way you want to call harassment. That's kind of general, right? You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
And that happens a lot, so that can be seen as possible.
Yeah.
You wear a diaper and you're incontinent. That's not common. I mean, maybe for people
And it's
of his
okay to be
age,
incontinent, by the way.
yeah, it's
I just
okay.
want to throw that out there. Like, it's totally okay. I have, like, urgency issues as an autistic person with proprioception, disability, all sorts of stuff can happen. But when you are a person who criticizes people for the very things that you are also struggling with, that's where it's an issue.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I just think that, yeah, exactly. Thank you. You said it. You said it the best. Because when you, yeah, when you talk poorly and badly about the disabled community, or when you talk poorly and badly about the people that have conditions or dis slash abilities that they have no control over, and then there's you throwing stones from the glass house.
That's not okay. That's why we talk about these things in the way that we do in
Yeah,
this regard, because context
exactly.
is important and valuable. So just to throw that out there before we get some hate on that, because
Yeah,
that's not what we're saying.
yeah, and I'm more frustrated with his behavior as a bigot, as a hateful,
Oh, it's just gotten
warmongering.
worse
Yeah,
over time.
yeah, and so that's why that's where my mind went immediately to calling him out. So
Yeah,
you
in
know,
mad respect, because I don't think I could do it. I think I would just get so worked up. I would probably have panic attacks. I don't think I could do it. Knowing my own personal limits. But I would
yeah,
love to swift punch to the face. I would love that opportunity. That would be great.
yeah. No,
Can I
and
say that?
also
Say that.
say in Fortnite, a swift punch to the face in Fortnite.
There we go. Yeah. Swift punch, punch to the face from Fortnite. Love it.
Yeah, yeah, in the video game. So you know, now that we've talked about that, I don't.
Oh, one more thing. So
Hmm.
they have announced a Grand Theft Auto 6 release, finally. Did you
Yeah.
see that? I
Oh yeah,
thought
yeah.
you as well when I saw that. I was like,
I've known about it for a while. I will be sick that month, from the day that it comes out to the day that I wake up.
so I think we should take bets now. How many times do you think it'll get pushed back now that we have a date?
Well, I don't think it's gonna get pushed back again.
Do you remember Rockstar in the early 2000s? Because they
I
pushed
do.
everything back.
Do you know how long they've been pushing this back?
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
an
So
ongoing joke in our household that we'll be like 80 by the time Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out.
yeah.
So
No, I think that this is it. I think that they're ready to come out with it. I don't know if you've seen like there's like a slate like all the video games like around that time. There's like a whole pocket where pretty much no other video game except for this Barbie video game is coming out. I mean, I guess
Shit.
like the overlap, the
Don't
Venn
knock
diagram.
it. Come on.
Well, I'm just saying
Barbie's
the
awesome.
Venn diagram of people who play Barbie, people who play GTA
I'm
6.
right in the middle, actually. Like, it's me and like maybe two other autistic women. It's,
But
it's fine.
yeah,
I love it. It's comfortable here.
we'll see. I think that they're ready. I think that they're very meticulous. And I think that they've pushed it back so many times that they wouldn't have actually gotten this close without being ready. But
The
I don't
criticism would
think
be
that.
harsh.
Yeah, I think it's going to come out with some bugs. That well, quite of course there's
Oh,
going to be some bugs, but I mean I think that it's going to be like no online from the beginning, kind of like GTA 5 was.
yeah.
I think it's going to be I think it's going to be really interesting to see how many people like don't show up to work, or like the
Oh,
way
for
that it
sure.
affects society in general.
Oh man, I hope someone takes some statistics on that because I would love that information as
Yeah,
well. That's a great point.
need the
I
data.
Yeah, need the data for that. I need the data for like the World Cup and who was domestic versus not in our host city. Like I need data for a lot of things. Our concern where we're at is because everything comes out on PC later. So my spouse and I are both PC gamers, and we have a PlayStation 4. I actually have like the brick PlayStation 3 that has lasted. I've actually had it repaired a couple times, but it has the Blu-ray player. I'm like, I'm holding on to this because it's going to be worth money. And the Nintendo Switch. But we would have to get a new system or wait until it comes out on PC. So that could be another year. So our dilemma is like, do we buy this very expensive gaming system just for this game, or what do we do? So we're trying to make hard decisions now as an adult, which, you know, small problems, I guess, compared
Yeah,
to other things that we could be dealing with.
exactly. Sorry if the sound changed for whatever reason. I don't know what's going on.
How dare you? How dare you?
No, I
It's
agree.
running consistent.
You should buy a PS5 now.
That was another thought. It's like, okay, so do I try to get in on this now? If I look up the price, I'm probably gonna like
Well,
pass
you
out.
should also probably buy two PS5s because I don't. I think you and your spouse are both
Stop.
gonna like. You gonna take turns?
No, I'm gonna get it. You know how this works. Like, it's
you,
mine,
you
and then
better
I'll let
both
him
get
play it when
one.
I'm not. I'll allow him to play. But we can't do multiplayer initially, you said, right? Because there
Well,
won't
we
be
don't
like
know
online.
yet, but I'm thinking
Oh, we don't know
probably
yet.
not.
Got it.
They have given so little information up to now. Still,
That's Rockstar's way.
the last trailer was just them showing the box art, which is like I'm not getting a box. It's digital.
I know, I know. That's Rockstar's always been the weirdest, cryptic company for video games. I don't know, but that's the thing. They make really good games. And I don't
Fortunately,
love their ways, but like the games are so good.
yeah.
Um I don't know what the company culture is like or anything because there was a lot of stuff coming out recently about Blizzard, who
Activision too. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and Activision and stuff like that. And shock for any woman who plays video games because you're so surprised by that. I guess the culture is super sexist.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Who could have known?
Who would have guessed in video games?
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. I just wanted to ask your thoughts on it, so I knew you would be planning ahead,
No,
and I
it,
thought that would be
it's
exciting.
near the top of my excited games of the year. That and Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I never played it. One of my friends was like, "What? You've never played it? Do you play Zelda?" I'm like, "Yeah, I played like a lot of them, but I just didn't play that one because at the time, I think it came out on the N64. My
Yeah.
brother and I argued so much we weren't allowed to play one-player games, so we always had to rent from Blockbuster, aging myself, uh,
Oh,
multiplayer
Blockbuster.
games.
The best Friday nights were like getting a movie and a video game for the weekend and like
Hmm.
getting pizza on the way home and like from Little Caesars or whatever. Like the
Yeah.
greasiest, nastiest, cheapest the
Oh,
better. And then
the
you just
best.
spend all weekend and then you got Saturday morning cartoons and like man,
And also, I don't think it's
so
just
good.
that we're adults that those things are not around because I feel like if I was an adult and it was that time, I would be doing something like that. But the way that work is now, the way that society is
Yeah,
now, the line between Friday or Thursday and Friday and Saturday, like the weekdays and the
it's so
weekends,
blurry.
is so blurred.
Yeah. So capitalism has taken over, is what I hear.
Yeah, down with capitalism.
You know, there was talk at some point about having 4-day work weeks for people. And, like, why did we abandon those talks? Oh, companies wanted to silence them, probably.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
I think it's coming to votes, but also it's like, are people still going to be paid similarly for working four
yeah,
days? You know what I
there's a
mean?
lot to figure at that. Hmm. I'm really glad I'm not in public office. That is something. Have, like, campaign ads started for you all? Because we're coming up on an election year.
They probably have, but I don't. I don't watch cable TV.
I
Nothing that
don't
I
either,
watch has
but
ads
we have
unless it's like TikTok or Instagram. Other than that, there's no ads. Like I mean, straight to the HBO for House of Dragons, um, straight to whatever anime I'm watching is Crunchyroll,
Crunchyroll.
and then sometimes I gotta fly the pirate flags, and those treacherous seas.
Receives. That's hilarious. Yeah, any of our subscriptions, we do like the ad based ones just because we're frugal. Um, this is how we can look at getting a PS5 though. It's like that or we have ad free. The campaign ads, because we're in the Midwest, have just been triggering. And I think I sent you like an example of one. And it's, but I'm in a blue part of my state,
There
so
you go. Though sometimes they're so absurd, they're hilarious. Like that one, he's like, if you don't like the police, call a crackhead. It's just like,
but people must listen to this crap. Like, I don't know. Like, there's actually one. So there's a guy running for office, state office in our state, who I actually went to school with, and I know him, and he's conservative. And there's a ad that's trying to paint him like a woke leftist, and I'm just like, have you met him? He's like not at all. But it's like because he was on a board of a college that did like the vagina monologues during the time that he was there. Like he had control over that. But it's funny because it's like it's painting him as like a trans friendly um, co-conspirator or whatever, and
hmm
it's funny to me because I know that that is not it at all. And it's yeah, I actually really love it, but I'm like, who is believing this? Like, it's so funny.
funny
Anyway,
and terrifying.
yeah, yeah. Like people believe whatever, and yet you put research articles in front of them, and they're like,
Yeah,
you're one of
exactly.
them. You're a sheep. Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyway, that's probably a good place to summarize and finish up.
yeah. I mean, if you like it, like the video, comment, subscribe, share with a friend
Or an enemy.
or an enemy, and thank you for watching our
We'll check
podcast.
back in.
Yeah.